Hello, my name is Claudia Mazzini. I am a chemical engineer. I work in a multinational company that operates in the automotive sector, supplier of major car manufacturers. My work experience for almost 30 years has always been in the automotive sector, having held roles in various corporate departments such as quality, production, maintenance, environment and safety. Currently I deal with quality, environment and safety management systems, defining procedures in line with company strategies and verifying their application in the various production sites. Why do we talk about systems thinking in organizations, or rather why is an organization, and in particular an industrial organization, an example of systems thinking? To understand it, it is necessary to retrace the evolution of industrial production systems. Ultimately, we will see how systems thinking has allowed us to arrive at lean thinking. Let's start with what we mean by production system. A production system can be defined as a set of machines, equipment and organization in a common flow of materials and information related to the production process, for instance, the transformation of raw material into a finished product. The evolution of production systems is necessarily linked to the concept of quality that I will try to introduce briefly. Industrial activity was born with the aim of obtaining a good quality product, that satisfied the needs of the final consumer. Together with the product, added value is created, which translates into wealth for the company that produces it. In its first, now dated, expression, quality is the adequacy or suitability for the use of a product or service. At present we no longer speak of the product but of satisfying the needs and expectations of customers and other stakeholders as per the definition reported ISO 9000. The concept of perceived value is also introduced. To arrive at this concept, it took 100 years of industrial history, which I will try to summarize in a few but important steps. From the second industrial revolution at the beginning of the century up to the 40s, we talk about quality control, activities carried out on the product by various production figures. After the Second World War, the concept of statistical control was introduced, but it was in the 1960s that the systemic approach began to become necessary. Other functions besides production, such as design, control and supplier evaluation, were added to the total quality control. In the 70s, the concept of quality assurance was introduced with preventive purposes. Total quality control and quality assurance lead to the introduction of quality systems, with the birth in 1987 of the ISO 9000 standards. Beginning in the 1970s, Japan developed company-wide quality control with the introduction of continuous improvement, Kaizen, customer satisfaction at the center, involvement of all employers, communication and team working. 10 years later, the Western world adopts the Japanese model, modifying and adapting it, creating total quality management. The evolution of total quality management is lean manufacturing, a systemic approach to waste reduction that incorporates a set of business process tools and techniques to optimize time, human resources, activities and productivity, and at the same time improve the quality level of products. Born in Japan, developed in Toyota from the 50s to the 80s. It then spread to the West with a revolutionary book, The Car That Changed the World. Parallel to the production systems, another evolution has involved management systems. A management system is the set of procedures, information systems and IT systems dedicated to the governance of an organization as defined by the ISO 9000 standard. The management systems have been developed for specific areas. For instance, 9001 for quality, 14001 for the environment, 45001 for health and safety at work. With a document drawn up in 2012 by ISO, the high-level structure was defined. The goal is to define a common structure for all present and future management system standards. The latest versions of the standards have already been standardized to the HLS. This allows companies to integrate their management systems and key content and facilitate their use. A fundamental concept of systems thinking introduced in management systems is the process approach. A process can be defined as an activity or a set of related activities that uses resources and is managed to allow the transformation of input elements into output elements. The outgoing element from a process can constitute the incoming element for the next process. The inputs and outputs can be both tangible, as materials components, equipment, and intangible, as information, knowledge. Picture 1 shows a classic traditional approach in which the company is organized into single business functions departments, while the process approach introduces a transversal management, which crosses the barriers between the different functional units, unifies their attention on the main objectives of the organization, and allows a valid management of the interfaces between the processes. By adequately defining each process, it is possible to create a process map in each organization, which highlights not only the processes with their inputs and outputs but also the relationships between the processes themselves. The process approach in its phase of analysis of individual processes and synthesis in the mapping of the same within an organization is an expression of the systems thinking approach. Thanks for your attention.